So hello everybody and welcome to today's Sunday sermon, which is on the 7th Sunday in Ordinary Time. And today we have been challenged, really challenged in the Gospel when Jesus says we should love and forgive our enemies and even do good for them. This is an impossible task, seemingly. And for the human being, it is impossible. Why? I don't know, because we see animals and they can, fight, and yet they can be at peace with each other very soon afterwards. But with us humans, we linger on and we mull and ruminate over hurts and things that were said, and people who we would consider our enemies, who don't like us. And Jesus is saying, love them, forgive them, do good for them. And this is probably the uniquest part of our faith, our doctrine. Probably distinguishes us from other great world religions. That this is one of the central themes in our faith and in our doctrine. Forgive. I'll give you an example. Somebody kills my brother, or your brother, or sister, or child, and then you're asked to forgive them. And they may have done it in cold blood, no matter whatever way they do it. We've been asked by Jesus to forgive those people and to do good for them. In 2006, Charles Carroll Roberts IV entered a school, girls' school in America, in the United States, and tied up 10 children, 10 little girls, and shot them. 5 of them died, and then he shot himself, and he died there and then. The Amish families of the girls that were dead and injured went to his wife, to Charles's wife, Charles Carroll Roberts, his wife, and parents, and they even attended the funeral. And their aim was not to hold a grudge, to forgive, and to go down that road to forgive. This was their attitude. This was a great example, and there are many examples, which I won't go into now, of where people have forgiven the worst of crimes and the worst of abuse and the worst things that have happened. We look at Jesus on the cross, and he said, forgive them, for they know not what they do. Without faith, it makes it very difficult. If you have a reason, you will put up with almost anyhow. And I think that when we, for the sake of our faith and for the sake of what Jesus has done for us, we forgive one another. It doesn't mean we forget, but we forgive. And we try at least. And as time goes on, we find maybe it easier to forgive. When we do forgive, we begin the process of healing ourselves. We begin the process of becoming wholesome and peaceful again, even though there's a great loss and there's a great damage done. Yet, because we can forgive, and we have tried to do that, and it won't be wiped away immediately when we go and say, I forgive you, it won't just disappear, but the process begins. I'm sure of that. And of course, we don't lose when we forgive. We don't lose anything. We gain, actually. We gain a sense of peace, and reconciliation is possible, and we have that sense of acceptance, and it certainly helps to begin the process of healing. Look for that part of us that can really say, I forgive that person, and it doesn't affect me anymore. And of course I'll drive him to the doctor or her or I'll help them in their hour of need when they ask me. I think this is very important in communities where people get sick and they need their neighbours, and sometimes neighbours don't get on well, and this is very sad. Imagine a church on a Sunday morning and we cannot greet some people who are our neighbours or living in the same community, and we cannot greet them because as we say, we're fighting with them or we're out with them. We don't talk to them. So this is the challenge today. If we don't, then we can't have anything to do with Christ. To forgive is healthy, psychologically and physically. Nobody knows what grudges and revenge cause, what damage it causes in our health and in our well-being. Certainly damages our peace of mind and makes us bitter, but it also may affect us physically. We too must be aware of how we hurt people, and we need forgiveness from them. And sometimes when we have to go and say, I'm sorry, it's not easy, and not many people can do it. In my experience now in life, very few people are ready to say, I'm sorry, forgive me, I made a mistake, I probably hurt you, and if so, I am very sorry. Now, when we do that, like the other one where we have to forgive, now we're looking for forgiveness. The process of healing begins, because guilt can be a terrible thing. Guilt, if we have a conscience at all, we become guilty, and guilty is a devouring thing as well. And living with guilt is, and we all do in some way, we live with the guilt of sin, and it's one of the ways of destroying us, is guilt. But knowing that we are forgiven, and that the person has at least maybe said, and even if they don't say, oh, I don't forgive you, I don't want to hear that, doesn't matter. You have made the approach, and the healing is beginning, and you will get there with the power of God and power of Jesus. Jesus will give you that power and that grace necessary to relieve yourself of guilt and disappointment and shyness even over what I may have done. Of course, there is also reparation. We must repair damage done. That goes without saying, to forgive and to ask for forgiveness. Forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. The Our Father, you know it. And we pray for reconciliation in the world. We start with ourselves, of course, and then for the whole world. And if we remember people who we have hurt, and maybe they have died, or maybe they are far away, or maybe it's difficult for us to meet them, pray for them. And once you start praying, your soul, your heart melts. If you say even a simple prayer like Hail Mary, Lord have mercy, all those little prayers help us on the way, and to say them sincerely. God bless you. Have a lovely day and a grace-filled week ahead.